I woke up 5:30 a.m., I pull up my phone, and there it is. Healers are losing interrupts. In other words, there is like a kobold or a null doing like, healer has to be like, okay, I'll take it, fine. Yeah, give it to me. Yeah. And if they want to avoid that, they have to rely on well-trained DPSs and tanks to step in and use their interrupts, because those stay. At least in Midnight Alpha. It's not confirmed that it's going to go live. It's not confirmed that this is what we're exactly gonna get next year when the game launches, when the expansion launches. That's huge. It is very huge if you think about it. Like, the repercussions of that change is massive. I believe this is a part of a larger campaign, larger strategy of simplifying WoW, going towards Midnight, the next expansion. But before we get there, for now, let's focus on the blue post itself. Here's what they say. Healing can be a stressful role when you must manage several things at once. Your own healing abilities, your team's health, and the enemy's actions. We feel that asking the healer to monitor the cast bars of things they don't have targeted while properly using their interrupts was asking too much. That sounds reasonable. If you're focusing on healing, and then you also have to target mobs in the pack or bosses, whatever, to cast interrupt like fucking ninja skills. Maybe this is my classic brain, but to me that sounds a little bit too much. Even if I used my feet, my dick, my nips, my hands, I would end up with my fingers all twisted and broken. I don't know how you guys do that. Hats off. But in any case, they continue lower. We recognize that this is a significant loss of utility in some circumstances and want to make sure that content available to a healer is still completable. Very important word. We will get back to this. And they go on then saying, especially considering solo experiences such as the special Delph boss encounters or any other solo challenge experiences. It clearly, goes in line with the idea of simplifying the game, which Midnight has been sharing all this time, and every interview with Ian or anyone else on Blizzard team, they keep bringing this up, that the game now is bloated, unapproachable, complicated. It's just cognitive overload. So I'm not entirely surprised. And while this might look like a small change, hey, just removing interrupts, okay? The ripple effect of that change will be huge, and it's not that it will stop interrupts being removed for the healers. It will change everything about the game. I think the ripple effect will be gigantic, and it will change everything about the game. When it comes to community is a little bit divided. For example, we have someone here, Ayla, saying, so you're telling me I'm losing my interrupt and I have to trust my PUG DPS and Midnight to do it? Yes. If it helps, the new player experience teaches players how to interrupt. So maybe the new wave of players will know how to interrupt. They will be able to press one extra button. But in any case, that's exactly what Blizzard is telling you right now. And there's also another side to the coin. Someone is complaining that this isn't what Mythic Plus is about. Just to say it in their own words, Mythic Plus was never meant to be played the same as Raid. It's supposed to be another separate endgame pillar that allows players to showcase different skill sets and play styles. Midnight is set to strip away 90% of healer's skill expression and agency over group survivability, outside of just straight HPS buttons. I really hope Blizzard reconsiders some of these changes. Just to be sure, don't confuse simplicity with difficulty. Difficulty is a separate topic. Midnight is making things more approachable, more digestible, more understandable for new players and returning players, and hopefully for existing players as well. Maybe, when you trim down the bloat, when you trim down the fat, you come out healthier, more focused, more sharp, and enjoy the game more. Didn't we just have a case in point, Fellowship, where things get simpler, people enjoy them more? And if you look at X, Steam, reviews, etc., the common denominator of all the comments about Fellowship is how easy it is to just jump in and have fun. And I think WoW, because it's so huge, so big, it kind of lost it. Here's my take. Back in the day, when we think about 2004, 2005, 2006, WoW Vanilla, WoW Classic, as we call it nowadays, the game was very simple. We had basic raids, basic dungeons, and just a few quests, and that didn't call for classes to have the entire toolkit available to them to go through the content, okay? Like, you could just tank, you could just DPS, you could just heal, because that was enough. Today, the game has a ton of solo play styles that it calls for that broader toolkit. You can't just be a DPS, you can't just be a tank, you can't just be a healer, because you won't be able to complete the game. And Blizzard goes with that philosophy of letting people do whatever the fuck they want. Do you know what I mean? You can't be saying, yes, sure, you do you. You just play whatever you want, delves, 24 hours a day. Sure, go ahead. But at the same time, you can't be telling other people, hey, by the way, if you like delves, well, you have to play a different class because the one you picked is not good for it. Naturally, we will lose a little bit of class identity. We will get a little bit of homogeneity inside the game. So Blizzard will have to figure out the way how to make class stand out on their own without relying entirely on that toolkit. But I kind of liked when things were simpler, because then the whole concept of class trinity really shined. Like you needed each other, and that was beautiful. I think classes back in the day had some kind of texture and that flavor, and you really couldn't do Y and Z without having other people play different roles. And nowadays, it feels like you kind of can't get away with it. And that's where the friction is. I think this is where what Blizzard started noticing about WoW retail is that people can just not engage with each other. They can just go on with their day and complete all the content without saying hi even once in the chat. It's like two extremes. Classic, where things were black and white, and we have retail, another extreme, where it's so bloated you don't even know what the fuck it is. What Midnight is trying to do, and interrupts are just one of the examples, probably tons of those are coming our way, where things are finding sweet spot in the middle. I think that is literally what's happening right now in front of us. But going back to the interrupts and the healers, the question is, if mythics need healers to do all sorts of things, then maybe the content design has gotten a little bit out of control. Maybe the next logical step is to design the content in a way that players can, first of all, afford to stay in their lane. If you're a healer, your primary role is to heal. But at the same time, give that healer or DPS or tank so much to do that multitasking is literally out of question. You have to excel in your assigned role. You have to prove you got it what it takes to be a tank, to be a DPS, or to be a healer. Maybe that will also level the playing field a little bit. In my experience, and this is coming from real life, if you have a clear division of responsibility, it's easier to hold someone accountable for their work. So maybe if we have that translated into game, if we have a clear distinction, you do that, you do that, you do that, it will be better for skilled players to shine, to push through the noise, and for weaker players know their weaknesses and work on them. And what I'm saying, I think it's implied in the next blue post that I have available. In the same patch note, they say a little bit about enemy behavior. With the removal of interrupt capabilities from healers, we are making an effort to change the behavior of enemies that use spells like Shoot or Frostbolt. We want enemies with these spells to more evenly spread their targeting to different players of your group, which would reduce cases where a single player might take a large spike of damage while others receive none. Going back to my very first point, this is just alpha, this is just experimentation. They said, and again, we have more to come for classes in Midnight testing. Testing is the keyword. We'll continue to outline all of this in our development notes with each new build, and we will continue to read your feedback as we iterate on class design. If you guys have any strong opinions about this, and you played alpha and you see that it's not working, do let them know, because they just might hear you. I think overall in time, Blizzard has become better at listening to players' feedback. And so take advantage of that. Whether you're happy about it or not, let people know. Start talking about this, because collectively we'll make WoW a better place for everyone. As long as we have a conversation about this, we can move in the right direction, okay? And that's all I have for you. I just wanted to bounce some of the ideas off you and hear your thoughts on this. So please do share them in the comments section. Like the video and subscribe if you want to see more of those news and updates and patch notes comments. It helps me a lot. And as always, stay Bybsie. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Subscribe.